What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment-related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. One of the most anticipated movies of the year, guys, is Top Gun Maverick. This is a franchise that some people have been waiting for so many years, guys. It's been decade after decade, people waiting for another Top Gun movie to be made, and it's going to be coming out, guys, but it looks to be that it's going to, of course, be postponed to later on in 2020 or maybe even into 2021 due to the pandemic going on in our world. So I want to talk about, guys, where is Top Gun Maverick at this point, and will this new release date that they have set Top Gun Maverick for, will they be able to stick to it, or can we expect it to be postponed once again? So let's talk about it. So guys, one thing I want to mention here is just the stellar cast of Top Gun Maverick. I mean, obviously, guys, what is a Top Gun movie without Tom Cruise? I mean, as Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell, and the list goes on and on, guys. I mean, of all the this incredible cast. I mean, you got Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, Glenn Powell, Lewis Pullman, Ed Harris, Val Kilmer. I mean, guys, you can't. This is just such a stellar cast. And then on top of that, you have the music done by Harold Faltermeyer and Hans Zimmer. So overall, guys, this is a movie that has a stellar cast. Great, music, probably great music, I should say. And then on top of all that, it's produced by Jerry Bruckheimer and Tom Cruise, amongst, other, producers. And then the director is Joseph Kosinski, which I don't know a lot about Kosinski, but nonetheless, I love having directors that aren't as, popular as others getting a chance at making some of these, types of movies, these like huge movies that we've been waiting for a long time. Now, originally, guys, this was a movie that was scheduled for June of 2020 and has since been pushed to December 23rd of 2020. So basically a Christmas Top Gun movie. And, as of right now, guys, the running time is 146 minutes. And you also have the budget, which was $152 million. And I'll tell you right now, this is a film that looks incredible. From the trailers and all of that, it looks absolutely incredible. Now, as far as the release goes, guys, Top Gun Maverick is scheduled to be released on December 23rd, 2020 by Paramount Pictures. It was originally scheduled to be released on July 12, 2019, but was moved back a year in August of 2018. On March 2nd, 2020, Paramount moved the film up 2 days early on June 24th, 2020, from its original release date on June 26, 2020. On April 2nd, 2020, it was announced that the film release was delayed until December 23rd of 2020 due to the pandemic. So, at the end of the day, guys, the reason this movie was, delayed at this point is because of the pandemic, which we've seen it across the movie industry, the gaming industry. We've seen it amongst so many different industries that this pandemic has really caused a lot of issues. Let's put it that way. I mean, not only in our world as a whole, but also in the world of movies and gaming and such. And so what could this mean, moving forward here? Are people going to want to go to the theaters after the pandemic, goes away? Or is this going to be something that stays around for a long time? And, will Top Gun end up being pushed to later on, even after December 23rd? In an article that was written by Kyle Mizukami of course, Popular Mechanics, even Maverick can't outmaneuver the pandemic. Top Gun Maverick was supposed to open in U.S. theaters in June of 2020, and then the closure of movie theaters and uncertainty about the pandemic is delaying the release of the highly anticipated film. The film instead will premiere in December of 2020. The wait for the most eagerly awaited aviation movie in decades just got a little longer. The global pandemic outbreak has disrupted the fabric of daily life in America, with hundreds of millions sheltering indoors in an attempt to slow the disease's spread. In response to the pandemic, Paramount Pictures pushed back the release of the eagerly awaited sequel to 1986's Top Gun from June 24th to sometime in December. Actor Tom Cruise, who plays legendary hot dog pilot Pete Maverick Mitchell, took to Twitter to break the bad news. He said, "I know many of you have waited 34 years. Unfortunately, it will be a little longer. Top Gun Maverick will fly this December. Stay safe, everyone." So Top Gun Maverick is one of the most heavily anticipated films in 2020 and expected to feature the same live-action cinematography that made the first film famous. One key difference is that the new film will actually show the actors in airplanes scenes that were recreated in the original film. According to veteran Hollywood producer Jerry Bruckheimer, who produced both films, what's different about this movie is that in Top Gun, we put the actors in the F-14s and we couldn't use one frame of it except some stuff on Tom because they all threw up. One of the big questions about the new film, even in December, will anyone actually go to the movie theater to see it, which we already talked about. The filmmakers installed IMAX quality cameras in actual fighter jets to shoot for a new levels in authenticity, a move that will really pay off in big screen movie theaters. So, look guys, at the end of the day, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute for Allergies and Infectious Diseases and advisor to the White House on the pandemic, says a second outbreak of the novel pandemic could take place in the fall. If that happens, it's hard to see the film releasing, let alone anyone going to a packed movie theater to see it. So a lot of this, guys, I mean, there's a potential here, of course, that we won't see a lot of these movies in theaters, that they will go just directly to streaming services, which is really unfortunate, or they will just get delayed further, like into 2021, which is obviously a possibility as well. Hopefully, guys, there is a vaccine that is able to come out well before the, of course, this pandemic going on would be able to come back once again. And that's something that we've got to really hope for. It doesn't sound like it's something that's going to be possible, but hopefully, I believe with the world trying to come together to try to solve this problem, hopefully it'll happen. And hopefully we'll be able to experience Top Gun Maverick in the theaters. But don't be surprised, guys, if this gets delayed once again amongst many other movies out there to later on, to 2021. Or, postponed indefinitely until things kind of calm down. But at this point, guys, I believe that Top Gun Maverick is going to be one of the best movies when it finally comes out of the year, without a doubt. I'm so excited to see this. I think we've waited a long time to see Tom Cruise in a Top Gun. We've been seeing him, of course, in a lot of these Mission Impossible movies, which are awesome. But an aviation movie, guys, it's something that definitely this generation is definitely going to want to check out, without a doubt. And I'm hoping that they're able to stick to the 12/23/2020 release date. But let me know what you guys think. Where do you guys think, Top Gun Maverick is? Is it pretty much just as simple as the pandemic that's going on right now as to where it is? And do you guys think it's going to get pushed back even further? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more Top Gun Maverick content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel in the past about Dying Light 2 and just how excited myself and a number of other people are for this, much anticipated sequel to the original Dying Light. And guys, I want to talk about one aspect of this game in particular, which we could probably branch off into a couple of aspects, that being multiplayer. So guys, of course, Dying Light, when it originally came out, of course, had a single-player experience, which a lot of people really loved, and then, of course, multiplayer experiences. And I think that with the second Dying Light, at least at this point, it's been confirmed that there will be a single-player story as well as multiplayer, which I've said on a number of occasions, guys, that having multiple ways you can connect with the franchise is really the way to go. Any AAA title that comes out should have multiplayer experiences, co-op experiences, and single-player experiences, so that you keep coming back to that franchise. I don't know why any developer or publisher would want you to play a single player experience and then you end up going to other games after that single player experience is done. But nonetheless, guys, Let's talk about the Dying Light 2. Will there be multiplayer? Well, it's been confirmed at this point now, unless something changes because of the pandemic going on in our world. Will Dying Light 2, that is, are they going to focus specifically on single player and almost forget about multiplayer, at least for the time being? Or are they going to, kind of go, with both what they were originally planning, that being single player and multiplayer? It seems as of right now, guys, that Techland, who are the creators of this game and of this series, they are saying that they're doing single player and multiplayer at this point. Now, will that change? It's hard to say. A lot of things are changing, obviously, rapidly, and we don't even know when the release date of Dying Light 2 is going to be. But what I will say is this. What we've seen so far from this game, it looks really great, and I think it's primed for a multiplayer experience as well as a single-player experience. I think it's going to be a very good game, and I think it's going to be quite popular, to be honest with you guys, as well. It's different. In a multiplayer experience, what would I want to see? Guys, I just want to see a number of different modes, number of different ways that you can connect with the franchise and connect with the multiplayer experience of Dying Light 2. Don't make it just one game mode. Make it a number of multiplayer modes, in my personal opinion, and add some new stuff, add some stuff that's worked in the past. And I think that when you're consistently evolving over time, that's a way in which that you can just continue growing the fan base. Now, this kind of leads me into not only the multiplayer, but co-op. And this is something I think is really important as well for a game like this, to have co-op experiences, so that I can, I can play it on my own, play a single player story, or single player, play multiplayer by myself or with other people, but also approaching the story from a co-op capacity, or having like a Dying Light 2 horde mode, similar to like Gears of War, where you're playing waves upon waves of enemies. Things of that nature I think could really be unique for Dying Light 2, to not only make it kind of stand out, but also just something that there's another way in which you can kind of connect with the game and the franchise, and it builds upon the legacy, the lore, the story of Dying Light 2, and just Dying Light in general as a franchise, because I think I can speak for many people that we want to see this be, kind of exceed our expectations, that being Dying Light 2. We want to see it exceed our expectations and then see continuations moving forward. A Dying Light 3 eventually, at least to round out maybe a trilogy if that's what they're going for, or just continue, making this a staple in gaming moving forward. So the answer is, guys, at this point, there's a multiplayer experience. Could that change, though? It's possible. Hopefully it doesn't, but I think it's up to us as a community. If you want a multiplayer experience, or you want that to stay in Dying Light 2, we have to voice that to, the developers, to Techland, and say, hey, we want this, no matter how much longer it takes you guys because of the pandemic going on right now. Please do a multiplayer experience as well as your single player experience, And I think as long as you take your time, you're able to focus on the totality of the game, they could make something really special. And I think from what I've seen of the gameplay, the trailers and things of that nature, this game looks like it could be something special. But I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below. What are you the most excited about with Dying Light 2? Is it the single player experience, the multiplayer experience, potential co-op experiences? Let me know what you guys think. And for more Dying Light 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Fallout is a franchise, guys, that has really become a signature staple in gaming, and people love this franchise. It's got a massive following, a massive community. Now, obviously, it's taken a step back because of Fallout 76 and a lot of the backlash there, but a lot of people are still looking to the future of this franchise, thinking that Fallout 76 was just a misstep. All it's going to take is a Fallout 5 to come out, and it hits on everything that we want, and we're right back to where we left off, that being like a significant incline over time in this franchise as far as growth is concerned, as far as scale and things of that nature. So What I want to talk about in this last segment of the show is everything we know so far about Fallout 5. So let's talk about it. In an article that was written by Nitish Singh of course, Gamers Suffice, Fallout 5, what we really want and expect from Bethesda. Fallout 5 is likely in the works, and there are plenty of expectations from fans. Fallout 4 may not have been a perfect game, but fans were quite content with what it had to offer to hardcore Fallout fans. Fallout 76, on the other hand, failed to impress mostly due to corporate decision making as well as a crummy development. Fans are now patiently waiting for Fallout 5, which is still a year or two away from the looks of it. So what is it we want from the Fallout 5 after a disastrous Fallout 76 release? So I can agree with this overall, guys, that Fallout 76, look, all it takes is one game to really hurt or tamper a franchise. All it takes is one game, though, to take it right back in the right direction, and I think Fallout 5 definitely could be that. So what is it that we want? As fans, we cannot help but feel that Fallout 76 didn't quite scratch the classic RPG we all have. The Outer Worlds released, and it was made by the original Obsidian developers who created Fallout New Vegas. It's a fantastic game and a reminder of what older Fallout games used to be like. We recommend giving the game a shot while we wait for Fallout 5. Now, as far as Fallout 5 being a couple of years away, it's hard to say, guys, at this point. I'm sure that they are working on it, but with Fallout 76, they're still producing content, that being like Wastelanders or whatever the new expansion's called for Fallout 76. So they're still creating content around Fallout 76, even though I think that they should personally just be moving on to Fallout 5 completely. However, I do think that we're probably going to hear that Fallout 5 is going to be coming out in the next couple of years, but it probably won't be a year or two after we get the initial announcement that there's going to be, the game will actually come out and we'll actually get our hands on it. Because number one, they're working on the Elder Scrolls 6. They're working on a number of other games, guys. So I think that Fallout, they're going to take their time. They got to figure out what they did right, wrong, and what they can do different moving forward. And then we'll get our Fallout 5. But at the end of the day, I just want Bethesda to take their time. That's really what it comes down to. Take your time, make a really great game, and we'll all come and play it. Coming back to Bethesda's own franchise, we do not know for certain if a new Fallout 5 game is in the works in the first place. As of now, Bethesda's focus will be on fixing Fallout 76 unless they decide to jump ship and start working on the sequel, which obviously they've already, they've been doing some of these expansions. Now, Doom Eternal faced some development issues, and Bethesda will be investing its resources into the game. But then Elder Scrolls 6, which will most likely be part of the next-gen PlayStation 5 as well as the Xbox Series X, Fallout 5 is at least 2 or 3 years away unless it becomes a number one priority out of nowhere, which obviously it's not, guys. They're obviously producing more content for Fallout 76. They've got Elder Scrolls 6 coming out. Doom Eternal is something that now it's becoming a prized possession of theirs. It's becoming a staple for Bethesda. And, who knows? They might be making another Rage game. There's just a number of other titles that they may be working on at this point. Now, one thing that we want is a karma system. One thing we all want to see again is the karma system that made us question our choices throughout the game. It was a part of Fallout 3, but Fallout 4 did not feature it. Hopefully it comes back in Fallout 5 since it is a fan favorite feature. I like the karma system. I mean, I could go with it or not. To me, I can see it either way. I see a lot of people who really like it. Others don't really like it that much. But if that's going to make the game really great, then okay, definitely put in the karma system. If your world does not change based on the choices you make, does it really feel fun? Dishonored is also from Bethesda, and the developers have retained the choice-based gameplay in the franchise right from the first title. There's no reason for Fallout to be any different as it adds to the different layers of gameplay. Co-op gameplay. Let's face it, no one likes Fallout 76 for the most part. While the idea was great in theory, Bethesda's implementation of online gameplay in a Fallout game could have been done much better. Co-op gameplay in Fallout would definitely be a welcome change. We do not need PvP if the game cannot offer great PvE in the first place. I agree with this. I mean, look, I think that Fallout 5, mostly everyone is going to want a great, single-player story. But I've always said this, guys, and I'll always say this, that AAA titles, all of them should have they should all have multiplayer experiences, co-op experiences, and a single-player experience. Fallout 76 only hit on one of those things, and some of the other Fallout games that have come out in the past only hit on one particular area. So if you have everything in one game, obviously, that's what I would like because it brings me back to the franchise over and over again, even after beating the single-player story. So Fallout storytelling lately has been a miss. We want more dialogue options and have conversations feel a little more meaningful. We've seen what Bethesda is capable of with games like Dishonored, Fallout New Vegas, and Skyrim. We want similar experiences as its older classics instead of a downward spiral. So overall, I agree with that. It's kind of one of those things. You want to have multiple ways that you can connect with this franchise. It's one of those franchises that is there to, for all of us to be able to spend hours upon hours, hundreds of hours potentially on the single player story if we absolutely want to. And also, what would be great is having a multiplayer experience that you can spend, hundreds of hours on as well. And even co-op modes you can play with your friends and such. It just feels like Fallout has been either one thing or another. It's been only a multiplayer experience or only a single-player story experience. So I think overall they need to try to kind of merge those worlds together. And look, maybe it doesn't connect for everyone. Maybe people don't like that. They would have much rather just have a really great single-player story. I'd love to hear from you guys, though, in the comment section below. Would you guys rather see just a single-player story, and then after that single-player story, you kind of move on to other games or whatever the case might be? Or would you rather have it be a full package deal where you got multiplayer modes, co-op modes, as well as, of course, the single-player story? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more Fallout 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.